everyone here. Oh my gosh. Welcome to the Jennifer Diamond channel. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer Diamond, and I'm a certified plant-based nutrition coach living a whole food plant-based lifestyle for health and well-being. And it literally gave me my life back, and I know it can help you with yours too. So I am so happy you're here with me today. I love sharing with you about how I live and healed through a whole food plant-based lifestyle, through exercise and meditation, so many things, so much more. I really believe living this way can help you. It can help, it can heal. It could do so many things for us as well. So I'd like to say hello to everyone. So I'm going to just check the chat here. Go ahead and say hello in the chat and tell me where you're tuning in from. If you're new or we don't know. If you're watching the replay, you can still comment and ask questions. So I always try to respond as soon as I can. So let me just say hello to Jill Caperton 1568. So nice to see you. Hi, Nan Cardoza 1880. Good to see you. Mona Arendt 6384. It's so nice to see you. I'm wondering, everybody seems to have numbers now behind their name. I think that was a YouTube thing, right? But I say it anyways, just in case I want to say the name right. Well, anyways, it's so good to see everyone here. Hello and welcome. So right now, it's the holiday season, and besides decorating or shopping, gift wrapping gifts, and all that kind of stuff, we also tend to eat out more, don't we? So whether it's at restaurants with friends or family, or meeting for a business meeting, say at like a coffee house, this seems to be a busy time, and lots of us need meals that are fast, especially if we're tired from a long day or busy with work or family. And we can find ourselves looking at a menu at the local diner, maybe a little bit more often than we thought we would. So on today's live, we're talking about something that we all encounter no matter what time of year it is, but it seems to be especially during the holidays and that is dining out. And we're going to be talking about dining out with confidence, right? So here's a question for everyone. What's your biggest challenge when dining out? I'm really curious. So go ahead and share that in the chat with me. In the past, I've shared about how to handle dining out when you have your food with you, and I've shown many times how I bring my purse, cooler bag with me, and how I manage it. But what about if that isn't an option? So now what do we do, right? And that's what I kind of want to talk about, because restaurants can feel intimidating when we're all trying to stick to our whole food plant-based lifestyle, especially, if we're gluten-free, sugar, oil, and salt-free, or any of the combination, or if we have specific health goals or needs, right? But dining out shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun. It's an opportunity for connection, celebration, joy, and making memories, good memories. So by the end of this live, my intention is that you'll feel empowered with practical strategies, simple communication tools, and a new sense of confidence, so you can enjoy restaurants without apology. Without anxiety, and without ever feeling like you're the odd one out, right? So I want to go ahead and check the chat. What's your biggest challenge when dining out? Let's see here what we have. Jill Caperton says oil. That is a big one, yes. And Mona says finding healthy options. Yeah. So hopefully we can help with that. And then Nan also says, yes, oil in food. That is a big one. And I'd like to ask you, Todd, what is your biggest challenge when dining out? Because your eating style is different, and most people have a different eating style. Like, it's not everybody's doing it for health. Some people are doing it for different reasons. So what is yours? If you have, do you have any challenges when you dine out? We'd love to hear it. Say hello.
Well, hello.
There he is.
I'm not as strict as you are. So I allow myself a little bit more flexibility. But I still try to find things that I know aren't probably going to kill me in an hour.
Yeah.
Things where I try to, not the super greasy, gnarly, nasty foods kind of thing is what I try to stay away from. And sometimes that's harder than other times.
Yeah, and that goes in, a lot with the oil.
Yeah.
So, anyways, well, I appreciate you chiming in to share that. And so, some of us may struggle with ordering when everything is cooked in oil, like we've already shared that. Finding gluten-free options sometimes, deciphering the menu, trying to figure it out, right? Social pressures, one I hear sometimes. Fear of being the difficult one, right? Oh my gosh, the difficult one. She's going to ask for a million things, right? That kind of thing. Not wanting to hold up the table, kind of the same group there. Group dynamics, or just feeling unsure about what's safe to order. So, all of these are valid challenges. The ones that I mentioned, the ones that we brought up in the chat, even the one that Todd spoke about. But here's the thing. I believe they all have solutions, and we're going to build your dining out toolkit right now. Step by step, you'll be able to be more prepared next time you find yourself dining out, okay? So, let's start with our mindset, because before we even step into a restaurant, our mindset is already shaping the entire experience, right? How we feel, how we order, how we respond to challenges, and even how satisfied we are afterwards. If we walk in feeling stressed or defensive or worried about being that person, whatever that is, right? The whole experience kind of tightens up. Suddenly, the menu feels overwhelming. The conversation could feel awkward, and we feel, and we leave there even feeling like dining out was just like really hard and challenging. But when we shift into a calmer, more empowered mindset, one rooted in curiosity, self respect, and confidence, everything changes, right? We start seeing possibilities instead of problems. We communicate more clearly. We advocate for ourselves without apology, right? And we enjoy the meal more because we're not carrying the weight of the guilt or pressure. Remember that we're not asking for anything that's unreasonable. We're not. We are simply choosing food that supports our health and our happiness. And that's it. So wherever you fall in that realm, you want to, be comfortable in it. So when we approach the experience from that place, right? I deserve to feel good, and it's okay to order what works for me, then the whole dining experience kind of softens, right? And here's the beautiful part. Restaurants, or let's say more accurately, the people who work at the restaurants, they tend to respond to our energy. So when we're relaxed and friendly, the staff is more relaxed and friendly, right? When we believe a good outcome is possible, we're more likely to notice the options that do work for us. And when we trust ourselves, dining out becomes something we can truly enjoy, and not something that we, have to survive, right? Mindset isn't about perfection or pressure. It's about letting yourself show up with confidence, clarity, and compassion for yourself first, and then for everyone else at the table. And once we put aside the idea that restaurants are hard or whatever that word is for you, we can see them for what they really are: predictable systems, right? Okay, I have a question for you guys. Does anyone know what an anchor food is? Anyone know what an anchor food is? So while you're answering that in the chat, um, I just want to tell you that most restaurant kitchens, regardless of their cuisine, they usually have the same core staples, right? What are those? A starch, vegetables, greens, grains, beans, or lentils, or maybe both, fruit, and a way to heat food without oil: steaming, boiling, baking. And when you understand this, you can suddenly see possibilities everywhere. It's not always perfect, but there are definitely a lot of possibilities. And this is where the concept of an anchor food comes in. So let's see if anyone knows what an anchor food is. Oh, I do want to say hello to Apple. Apple is in the house. Hi, Apple 369. I'm so glad you're here with us. And we do not know what an anchor food is. So that's okay. Okay, so what is an anchor food? Might be thinking right now. Okay, an anchor food is your safe, simple, reliable starting point. The thing you can comfortably say yes to at almost any restaurant. So think of it as the foundation of your meal. Once you've identified your anchor, and we're going to talk more about this, the rest of the meal becomes a lot easier to build out. So here's an example of a great anchor food, right? That might be, here's a few examples. Okay, let's do a baked potato. No butter, no oil, just a clean, warm, satisfying base that you can top with veggies, salsa, beans, whatever else we find on the menu. Here's another one: steamed broccoli. Simple, nourishing, and available in more places than you would think. And if it isn't steamed broccoli, it's some other kind of steamed vegetable like that, I'm sure. It could be Brussels sprouts, it could be cauliflower, and so on. Another example: rice. Now, ask how it's prepared, because sometimes they do add oil. But when it's plain or made with water, it's a perfect anchor. Quinoa, high in protein. It's often available at cafes, burrito places, health-focused restaurants. Okay, and a couple more I want to mention: salad greens. Beautiful, nutrient-packed, endlessly customizable. A fresh fruit bowl. They're great at breakfast spots or cafes, and a perfect way to stay aligned with your goals. So what makes an anchor food so powerful is that it removes the feeling of being overwhelmed. So instead of staring at the menu, like I've got right here, oh my gosh, I don't know what I can eat, you can shift into, okay, here's my anchor. Now, how do I build around it? Okay. And once you find that anchor, everything else becomes really flexible. So you can ask for steamed veggies, a side of beans, a wedge of lemon, salsa, even a simple bowl of greens to turn your anchor into a satisfying, whole food, plant-based, aligned meal. So you're no longer creating a whole meal from scratch. You're adding to something that you already know works for you. Does that make sense, you guys? Does anyone have any questions about that? I know it's kind of a different way to think about things. So I would love to hear from you. Hi, Bernadette. Bernadette is here. While you're putting your questions or comments in the chat, we can break down dining into a simple, reliable 3-phase system, right? So you can use that anytime, anywhere. Okay, so let's go into first phase, right? The first phase is know before you go. So this is your gentle, low effort way to set yourself up for a great experience. And I really do mean low effort. You don't have to become a private investigator or spend a bunch of hours digging through the menu. Just give yourself a quick 2 to 3 minute scan before you leave the house, right? Or even in the car on your way there, if you're not the one driving, of course. And that's, if you're pressured for time, right? If you have a little more time, you can look at the menu online. This is your sneak peek into what's possible instead of going in blind and hoping there's something that you can piece together. You get a spot opportunity ahead of time so that you can walk in feeling calm and prepared and confident. I mean, you can spot what the opportunity is in advance. Okay, I don't know that came out clear. Use the menu to look for things that can easily be customized or combined. So, sides. These are actually often your secret weapon. And this menu here has a column that says sides, and some of those sides could be steamed veggies, baked potato, rice, beans, fruit cup, things that we've kind of already talked about. But you can build an entire meal sometimes from sides if you need to, And another one is salads. And I think this menu also, has a section on salads. Where is the salads? It's on the other side. Da, 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 da. Do we know? Do we know? Well, we've got, here we go. Here we go. Sorry. So there's sides. And it's right next to it. And I missed it. But yes, salads. So just don't look for salads. You can also look for the ingredients. I mean, yes, they do have salads here. And some of these salads could work with some changes about them. But you can also look into the other sections, like they have a lunch section here and a healthier side. That's kind of cute. So you've got to take it and see what do they have. Even if the standard version isn't perfect, you can almost always build something delicious by asking for the greens from one salad, right? The veggies from another dish you saw, and the dressing on the side so that you have control of how much you want to put on there. Or you could do like me. I pass on the dressings, or I get it on the side and then I offer it to someone else at the table. Bowls. Okay, bowls are great. And, this menu has bowls, which, it's common, right? So what are bowls? You could do grain bowls. You could do veggie bowls, power bowls, they call them. And these are usually very customizable and already come with lots of plant foods. There's also like steamed or simple options, because some restaurants have like a healthy or lighter fare section with steamed veggies, baked items, and plain grains from that to form your perfect base. And let me see so we already mentioned that this one has the healthier side. There's a lot of times a build your own section. Now, I don't know that this menu has a build your own section, but I have seen it a lot. I don't see it here today. But if you see a build your own section, these are golden, right? Build your own bowls, salads, tacos, burritos, stir fries, even pizza. Okay. So you're basically handed permission to choose exactly what you want. Now, vegetable-based entrees, look for anything centered around veggies. Stir fries, roasted vegetable plates, pasta primavera, veggie tacos. Even if they aren't naturally whole food plant-based, they're usually easy to modify. So, if you find something that's a stir fry, well, it's probably an oil. But if you could say, could I have, a chicken fajita, no chicken, and can you instead just put the vegetables in a steamer for me? And maybe, can I have a little side of garlic powder, right? So that's your seasoning. And don't forget to look at the kids menu. A lot of times the kids menus just have deep fried chicken nuggets and things like that. But you never know, because it sounds funny, I know, but sometimes the simplest, most straightforward options live there, right? So just check it. Might not work, but if it does, you might find some of the things we've talked about, a basic vegetable plate or the plain potato, fruit, steamed vegetable of your choice. So what this quick scan does is two things. The first thing it does is it shows you what's already close to your lifestyle. And the second thing is it highlights what you might be able to request with just a couple of small tweaks. So it eliminates the pressure. So there's no pressure, no stress, just a quick little roadmap before you even walk in the door. So I want to, ask, does that make sense, you guys? Does anyone have any questions about anchor foods? Let me just check the chat here. I see Core Scorpio is here. Hello. And Apple earlier said, are anchor foods the ones someone always eats? Well, I hope okay, I just want to make sure that the anchor food is the base of what your plate is. And so hopefully that's clear. So whatever you choose, that's not necessarily, what they offer, like, this particular item. It's something that you might pull from the item, not the item, the choice here, so based on what you're looking for, that would be your anchor, and then you can just customize it. Hopefully that's clear. Let me know if you have any other questions, you want to talk more about what that means. Was that clear to you, Todd, my description here?
Yes, it was.
Definition?
To me, yes.
Okay, so I hope that makes sense, because sometimes going in with that mindset can really, really be helpful. And especially if you've already been able to look at the menu ahead of time online, or, just however you can, like, I don't know, if you're there early, you could even look at one of these menus. But at any rate, I want to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Okay, so once you've done the quick menu scan, find your anchor, right? And like we just said, that is the thing that you can build everything else around. So let's do an example. So let's say you spot the baked potato on the menu. Okay, perfect. That's going to be your anchor. I should have had a plate with a potato, which I could get. With a baked potato as your anchor, suddenly the rest of the menu becomes a buffet of possibilities. So maybe you say you add steamed veggies from the side section, which is on the other page for me. Maybe you top it with salsa from like a taco appetizer, if the ingredients is clean enough for you and there's no oil. Maybe you add black beans from the burrito bowl, and you have to check to find out what is going to work for you. Maybe you grab a simple garden salad to go with it, and you just have a plain baked potato with a garden salad, and you're golden right there. So now you've created a full, satisfying meal without stress and without apologizing. Okay? The next part in Know Before You Go is know your non-negotiables. This is where your confidence really starts to grow, because you get clear on what matters most to you before you're even sitting at that table. So I want you to also remember that this is going to look a little bit different for everyone. Your non-negotiables are the things you're simply not willing to compromise on, because they may not support your health or your goals or your body or your well-being or whatever it is that you've already decided that isn't going to work for you. And for some people, it could be as simple as, I need only gluten-free things. For others, like we talked about earlier in our chat, it might be no oil. It might be no oil, no added sugar, and no added salt. I do that. And for many of us, it could be a combination. And if you're already whole food plant-based, you wouldn't want any animal products, but or dairy, cheeses, things like that. So you want to just find your non-negotiables, understand what they are, and whatever your non-negotiables are, you get to choose them. They're yours. They're not rules that someone gave you. They're boundaries that you set from a place, a loving place of self-care and clarity and empowerment, right? So when you know these things ahead of time, then a few things happen. And it could be different for everyone. This is my example, right? You don't get flustered when the server comes to take your order because, like, okay, you're next, hurry up, what are you doing, kind of thing, right? You avoid that moment of, oh no, I don't want to be difficult, because now you have language, like you, you're not ready. Because now you have language ready to go ahead of time, so you're not like just feeling that stress of being difficult. Um, you can ask for modifications with confidence, not hesitation, because you already figured this out. You can stay aligned with your lifestyle without feeling deprived or pressured. So think of it like this: your non-negotiables are your personal compass. Okay. They help you navigate the menu, the conversation, and the entire dining experience with ease. So, here is another beautiful part about this. Most restaurants are far more accommodating than we imagine. Most, not everybody, but most. And when you're clear about what you need, it's so much easier for them to help you get there. Okay. And the last part of the know before you go, and this is totally optional, but highly recommended. I do it. Call ahead, especially if you know and you have time, call ahead. So, Bernadette says, love this anchor food. Yes, yes. So we are going to do a little bit of an example of what a phone call might look like. And I just want to tell you, I'm going to be using I call it my Lucy phone. You don't have to have a Lucy phone to do this. I just have this and I thought it would be fun to bring it in here. So we're going to make our call, right? Remember these? Oh my gosh, this is so fun. I love it. Yes, hi. I'm coming in tonight with a group, and I have some dietary needs. I'm hoping to talk with someone who can help me figure out what I might be able to order when I get to your restaurant. I noticed on your online menu that you offer baked potatoes and veggies. Can you tell me how you prepare the potatoes? Well, for example, do you put butter or salt on the skin? Can you steam the vegetables instead of roasting them? I see that there is something on the menu called your Monterey Club, and it's with vegetables that are grilled. Could I just ask for those steamed instead of grilled or roasted? That's wonderful. And who am I speaking with? Thank you so very much. I look forward to coming in and hanging out with you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye. So most places will happily accommodate you when they're given a little notice. Now, sometimes the person that answers the phone isn't the one that's going to be able to help you. The person that answers the phone will make sure you get to the right person. Sometimes it's a manager, and so whomever it is, you just let them know. And knowing the menu ahead of time helps them, because you're kind of telling them, I already know you have this. Can you just prepare it a different way for me? And that's helpful for them because they usually know their menu really, really well. Okay. So preparation sets you up for success before you even walk in the door. I strongly believe it. And it makes the whole experience so much nicer. And it isn't that much effort. So are you guys still following along? Any questions? Okay, let me just see. Oh, hello, Marilyn Dubin is here. Yes, great idea. I'm so glad you like it. And Core Scorpy, OMG, this is great. Well, thank you. I hope that it's helpful. And I'm glad that people are understanding this. And yes, Bernadette said, love this anchor food. I did mention that. And so I appreciate that this is helpful for you guys. Okay. So phase one, again, know before you go. And the steps are look at the menu ahead of time so you have a sense of what's there. Find your anchor, your starting point. Know your non-negotiables and call ahead. Okay? So we're going to go into the second phase, which is create your plate, right? Oh, are there questions coming in? Or are we okay still?
Core Scorpy has given you some props. Top tier entertainment with that phone call scene.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, I just love a good Lucy phone.
And Marilyn Dubin agrees it takes the pressure off.
Yes, it really does. I believe, especially if people haven't been in a restaurant for a long time, and now all of a sudden they find themselves there, or they're changing and they're just not sure what to do. So, okay, well, we're going to go into the second phase, which I just mentioned, is create your plate. So this is the moment where you actually start to build your meal, even if it's still in your head. And honestly, it's where dining out becomes fun and flexible and full of possibilities. Because remember, you don't need to hunt for the one perfect entree on the menu. Sometimes, most oftentimes, it's not there. And that's okay. So instead, think creatively. Think in building blocks, right? Think in combinations. You're simply putting together a meal using pieces of the restaurant, of what the restaurant already has, right? And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I really do love puzzles. It's kind of like assembling a puzzle. So we're wanting to check the sides. They often have a lot of hidden gems, right? Many restaurants have the sides like the steamed veggies, baked potatoes, rice, beans, quinoa, fruit, or simple greens that we have mentioned several times already. But these can become your meal, or they can serve as the perfect base, our anchor to build upon, right? Another area to look for, appetizers. Look at appetizers. Appetizers often include the most naturally plant-based, minimally processed items. Doesn't mean they're all that way. It means you can find them sometimes there, right? Vegetable plates, soups. Now, watch for the sodium in soups if that's something that you're concerned about. Hummus, right? Edamame, fruit bowls, guacamole, chips and salsa. You have to be careful with the chips sometimes, but that is an option for some people. Sometimes pairing a couple of the appetizers gives you a better meal than the entree section ever could. You know, I've even seen like steamed artichoke hearts that come with like a dip. You don't have to have the dip, right? Modify the salads. That's another one. Salads are usually the easiest starting point, if you ask me. So just remove the ingredients that you don't want, right? So on this one, you know, they have a few things here. They've got a kale and berry, a cob, a sweet honey pecan, a chicken avocado chop. So if I pick the kale and berry, I already see it says kale, mixed greens with all natural sliced chicken breast. So for me, I want to keep the kale and the mixed greens. Shredded carrots, they can stay. Fresh strawberries, they can stay. Fresh blueberries can stay. Pecans, I might be okay with that. I might not. So maybe I would ask that on the side. This has herbed goat cheese. So for me, that goes. With lemon, white balsamic dressing. Dressing on the side, can you also give me some lemon, right? So get rid of the cheese, the croutons, the dressing, and add anything else you want. You can even look at other areas where they have other things. I know on this salad, it talks about diced tomatoes, crunchy corn, black beans, arugula. chopped romaine. So I can go through and sub things out. You don't have to pay for every additional thing. Just say, can I take the chicken out and add uh, avocado and diced tomatoes? And you can talk to them like, are you going to charge me if I add this? Oh, and always when you say you don't want to add something, make sure you say, I want to sub it for. When you say that word, I want to substitute something, most times they understand that you're changing it out. They're not looking at, don't have this and then add that. That's an extra fee. So that's kind of a hidden way to talk to them. You see what I'm kind of doing here? You can ask for beans, avocado, extra veggies. Fresh lemon wedges is my go-to. I love doing that. Or a splash of balsamic instead of the heavy dressing. I mean, I know a lot of us like to bring our own California balsamic. I do as well sometimes. But this is if you don't have that opportunity. You know, there are options. And then suddenly, what do you have? You have a fresh, vibrant, hearty meal that aligns beautifully with your lifestyle, especially if you can get some grains, on the side with that. What about the build your own bowl? So most menus already have all the components that you need. Another thing, before I get into that, I want to say is salad bars. Before we leave the salad, some places have beautiful salad bars, and that's where you're just you just go in there and go back as many times as you want. And that's also a really good one to do, is because then you know and you can pick each one out specifically, and you can ask about certain things specific to this item here on the salad bar. Like I'm thinking like, garbanzo beans, right? So I want to know, are they salt free or not? Or whatever it works for you. Okay, so building your own bowl. So like I was saying, most menus already have all the components that you need, and we keep talking about them. A starch is important for your build your own bowl. Some veggies, greens, maybe even beans, maybe even tofu. We haven't spoken about tofu. Some places even tempeh. So you're just assembling them in a way that works for you. So rice from one dish over here, steamed veggies from another, and a side of salad for freshness, right? Done. You just made a plate. And then, like we talked about earlier, ask for it to be steamed or baked alternatively, or for alternatives other than, cooking them in oil. And they can usually do it. Not every time, though. It's not a perfect thing. It's just a helpful thing. So if something is normally sauteed or cooked in oil, like tofu, vegetables, even mushrooms, just ask them, can you steam this? Can you grill it dry? Can you bake it instead for me? And you'd be amazed at how often restaurants are willing to do this. Sometimes they give you like this crooked face, like, what? You don't want it? You don't want it the way that we do it, it's so flavorful and this and that. And, then I just tend to tell them I can't have it that way, or, I'm having a health reason that I can't. So I would love it because I know how delicious it is here. I've had it before, but if you can cook it this way, prepare it this other way, I can really enjoy. And most of the time they're like that, let me just make sure we can do that in the kitchen for you. Sometimes they'll say it might take a few minutes longer. Hey, that's good, So the goal with Create Your Plate is not perfection, guys. It's creativity. It's confidence. It's knowing that you can walk into almost any restaurant and create a meal that's delicious, satisfying, and aligned with how you love to eat. By the time you reach this phase, you've already set yourself up for success. So you scanned the menu, you identified your anchor, you communicated clearly, and now you get to enjoy the process of putting it all together. And dining out becomes playful, it becomes empowering, and it becomes something that you genuinely look forward to instead of something that you're stressed out or dreading about. So before we get into the third phase, let me ask you, what is your favorite type of food, right? For example, like Mexican style, Indian, Italian, Tell me in the chat. Let me know. It's really hard to choose one for me. I'm so indecisive all the time, but I really do. I like all of them. What about you? Do you have a favorite, Todd?
My favorite is Mexican.
Mexican, yes. Okay. And I'd love to hear what you guys say as well. Hello, Lisa. I see you in the chat. Welcome. So glad to have you join all of us. And that's WFPB, not Lisa. Okay, so the third phase is communicate with confidence. So this is where so many people get tripped up, right? Because they're worried about being a burden, or they feel awkward asking for something that's different, or they apologize before they even begin. But here's the truth. When you communicate clearly and kindly, you make it easier for everyone, yourself included. So what does confidence usually or actually sound like? I'm going to tell you. I'd like to get the veggies steamed with no oil. I'll have the salad with lemon wedges or balsamic vinegar on the side and no dressing. I'll have a plain baked potato, please. I'd like the gluten-free pasta without cheese or oil. I'd like to build a veggie plate using your sides here. See, it's short, it's friendly, it's clear. Now notice what we are not doing here. We're not apologizing for our choices. We're not giving long explanations about why we eat this way. They don't have time. They don't really care, honestly. We are not defending our preferences, our health goals, or our lifestyle. Why? Because confidence isn't loud or forceful. It's calm and it's warm and it's just very clear. So your tone sets the tone. If you speak with kindness and friendliness and self-assurance, then the energy almost always comes right back to you. See? When you communicate with confidence, you send a message, not just to the server, but to yourself, that your needs matter, and they do. Your health matters, and it does. And your choices are valid, and they are. And from that place, dining out becomes so much easier, lighter, and more enjoyable. Okay, quick review. Ready? So phase 1, again, know before you go. Phase 2, communicate with confidence. No, create your plate, sorry. And phase 3, communicate with confidence. So know before you go, create your plate, communicate with confidence, okay? Now let's talk about cuisine-specific approaches. But I wanna check the chat. What is your favorite type of cuisine? What do we have here? Let's see. Anything? Go ahead, Todd.
Of course, Scorpy is all about Japanese. Edamame, cucumber, avocado salads are amazing.
Nice, nice. So Japanese food, that is a great one.
Nan, Lisa, and Marilyn, to some degree, are on the Mexican train with me.
Awesome.
Although Marilyn likes Italian here also.
Okay.
And Mona's an Italian fan, but says it's hard to have just spaghetti and red sauce.
Okay. All right. Those are great, you guys. Thanks for sharing that. Bernadette says, Mona, it's all about your focus. Make your health a priority. Add veggies to fill you up. Love that. Love that, Bernadette. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Just find something to add in there. And maybe it's something you've never had before. Maybe you'll love it, right? Okay, so different types of cuisine. I just want to talk about some of the options. So Asian, right? Some of the common things you can find at restaurants that serve Asian food: steamed rice, steamed veggies, tofu, miso soup, edamame, and then ask for adjustments. If the rice is cooked in chicken broth instead of water or has added oil, right? Then, check both the white and the brown rice cooking options. because oftentimes, they cook them differently. And you might find that the white one has, X, Y, and Z in it that I don't eat, but the brown one, we cook it in water. I don't know why they do that. And then you're like, yes, I want the brown one. Steamed tofu versus stir fried in oil. Miso soup may have the higher salt, so check out some other soup options. Order the edamame without salt if that's something you're concerned about, or the soy sauce. And then ask for garlic powder and lemon wedges. That's what I like to do. Mexican, which we heard a lot about so far, bean burritos with no cheese, veggie fajitas, salsa, corn tortillas. Ask them how the beans are cooked and see if you can find plain beans. Steam the veggies instead of sauteing them, like we talked about earlier, that you might find in fajitas, right? So, Mediterranean. Oh, I do love Mediterranean. I think I'm going to say Mediterranean for myself, Todd.
Okay.
I mean, I love so many foods, and Mexican and Italian and all of that too. Italian, I don't think is my favorite though. Okay, anyways, I got sidetracked. Mediterranean, so hummus, tabbouleh without oil, lentil soup, sometimes veggie platters. So ask for sliced cucumbers with the hummus in place of the gluten pita or the white pita bread. You don't have to have that. And you'll have to find out what's in the hummus. Sometimes there is not oil in it, but they put it on top. So you can say, can you hold that? And just see if that's an option for you. Italian, which was mentioned. So gluten-free pasta with marinara. Steamed veggies added, which we already spoke about. And you can see if the sauce has no oil, sugar, or salt. And if so, if it does, then see if they have just some plain tomato sauce that hasn't had anything done to it, that they might even have for something else like pizza or something else, and that you can use the plain tomato sauce yourself. Or sometimes you can just get it plain pasta, gluten-free or whatever is your liking, whole grain if that's what you're into, plain without sauce. And then add steamed vegetables, and then add, a sprig of a squeeze of fresh lemon or lime, or the garlic powder. Just make sure when I want them to bring me garlic powder, I always, when it gets there, say, this is powder, not the salt, right? Can you make sure? Because I don't want garlic salt, and sometimes they interchange them. And that's been really helpful. Okay, Thai. Steamed vegetable dishes. Great, right? Rice, tofu, broth-based soups. They have a lot of coconut-based soups. Some people like and lemongrass soups with coconut base or curries. And oh my gosh, that goes on. Well, actually, the curry I think is more an Indian, which I'll talk about next. So Indian food, lentils, rice, veggies on the side. So I'll tell you really quickly, when we recently went to an Indian restaurant near our home, and I was able to find out that the dish that I wanted, which was a yellow dal, that's a lentil dish, it off the menu, it had oil in it. And they said that they couldn't change that because it was already pre-made. But I had already ordered this before there. So I reminded them, last time I was here, I was able to order this exact dish without any oil and without any salt. How come we can't do that, today? So when I asked them, when I asked for them to be part of the solution, then they started to think and checked back, and suddenly they remembered that before it gets put into the pot with the oil, this is this specific restaurant, and the sodium, it's sitting in the refrigerator in a big pot, just, it was cooked in water. And what they do is they take it out and they put it on the oil and they season it before they serve it. So the manager was so nice and offered, she said, I will be happy to go into the refrigerator and get some of the dal and heat it up for me. So I just had it plain and it was great. And I was able to enjoy the food there. And the last one I want to talk about is American diners. Ah, we have such a bad name, right? But let me tell you what you can find there. You're laughing, but it's true. You think of that, you think of greasy, big, ay, ay, ay,
Well, and what's the middle word in standard American diet,
right?
right?
Yeah. So, what you can find there are baked potatoes, steamed veggies like broccoli or asparagus. You can get oatmeal sometimes there, fruit, simple salads. So, you can, if you're going to go with the oatmeal, or if some place has oatmeal, just check to see if it's made with just water instead of sugar, brown sugar, or dairy milk. A lot of times they make it in water and then they add that stuff. At the end, so it can be done. There's always something that you can figure out for this one meal, this one time, right? So anything anything in the chat here before I move on? Let's see. um just check it.
So Bernadette was talking with Mona about your focus, make health your priority, add veggies. We said that, and Mona's challenge is the Italian restaurant nearest her
Mm.
as a place that's just sauce, meat, cheese, and pasta, and of course bread. So
Yeah, it's not perfect. But if you, I don't know if you've done this, but you can continue to call or go in and just let them know, I live near you guys. I would love to come here on a regular basis. But I can't find anything on your menu. Is there a possibility that, we could make this way? And I would suggest going in not at the busy times, not at the lunch hour or the breakfast or the dinner, but kind of like the off hours if possible. Yes, you can call. I think that there's something to be said for going in person. And depending on what it is, if it's a chain, they might not be able to, but if it's a mom pop kind of place, sometimes they can. And I also feel like the more of us that bring it to their attention and talk about it and ask about it, if enough of us make a loud enough sound about it, then there might be some options that slowly trickle in. So I hope that that's helpful. It's not a perfect answer. All right, but okay, let's talk about the social part of dining out. Dining out with others. Okay, this isn't about pressure. This is about keeping things comfortable and natural when you're out with others. So here are a few simple strategies. Maybe you suggest the restaurant when you can. So if you're part of the planning, choose a place where you can order easily, right? I know that, for example, my mom goes out with friends often, and they know that she eats a certain way because she's been trying to eat more like I do. And she found a restaurant that makes a really beautiful salad, just perfect for what she wants. So she suggests the restaurant, and it's a restaurant where you can find so many options. And so I know that if you're part of the planning, that's also, a really big key. The second thing is, of course, know before you go. Use what we just talked about and understand what's on the menu ahead of time so that you can be better prepared. Number 3, normalize your choices ahead of time. Now, if you're part of a group text, I'm usually a lot of times in group texts where we're trying to coordinate something. I might say I'll probably in the text that I'll probably order the steamed veggies and a salad. And then I might just say, and I'm excited to see everyone. I'm going to order the steamed veggies and a salad, and I'm excited to see everyone. Why? Why do I want to do that? This helps set expectations and it keeps things light, so people know that I'm not going to go in there and order some gigantic something that's not going to work for me. In fact, that has happened to me before in the past. I had a girlfriend that came from Alaska. She was visiting, and she said, "We want to go to, a bunch of friends. We want to go to this restaurant." And so I said, "Okay." And I just was going to bring my own food. At any rate, things started to change with the whole thing, and she was questioning the restaurant. So she said, "What restaurant do I want to go to?" Well, I said, "It doesn't really matter to me because I'm bringing my own food. I just want to see you, right?" And so it sets the expectation. And this is another example here, letting people know that you're going to order something and what it is. Anyways, okay, I stayed there long enough. The next thing I would like to say is order calmly. You don't have to announce what you're doing, right? Just order calmly without announcement, no disclaimers, no explanations, just a normal order like everyone else. I sometimes tell the waitress or waiter, if I know I'm going to not be able to order it like number 3 or this one thing here or whatever. I sometimes tell the waiter or waitress, "Okay, I'm going to be the problem child for this order, and I have a couple questions. I hope you don't mind." I laugh a little, and I try to keep it light, and then they know what to expect, and they, help me figure it out. And most of the time, they say, "Oh, don't worry about it. We have so many people that come in here with so many, things that they need help with." So, all right, another thing is shift the focus to connection. Restaurants aren't just about food. Yeah, they're about people, conversations, laughter, togetherness. This is what actually matters. Okay? The other thing is let others have their experience. You don't need to comment on anyone else's plate. You don't need to match their plates. Just the same way that you might not want them to do that to you. We just don't need to go there, right? You are simply choosing what supports you. Okay, I got a question for you guys. Has anyone heard of the first sentence strategy? Anybody? Let me know. And I see, Nan says, "Don't forget to give a thumbs up for Jennifer and Todd." I appreciate that, Nan. Yes, that always does help us know that you're enjoying the content, and I appreciate it. So, first sentence strategy. Anyone heard of it? Let me know in the chat there. And while we wait, I'm going to talk about some more like advanced tools that you can use for your toolkit. So these tools help you elevate your confidence even more, right? And so tool number 1 is the first sentence strategy. Your first sentence sets the tone for the whole interaction, okay? Here's an example. "Hi there, could you help me order something steamed or baked?" The first sentence comes from a place of confidence and allows your waiter or waitress the opportunity to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. Oh, I see Jill says, "No, I have not heard of it." Yeah. Okay. So it's something to think about. Tool number 2, ingredient-based ordering. Okay. So don't look for dishes, forget it. Dishes frequently have components that are already prepared, mixed, combined, or assembled, and deconstructing them just isn't easy. Sometimes it's impossible in a really busy kitchen. Instead, like we talked about, look for ingredients all over the menu: rice, potatoes, greens, beans, veggies, and combine them into a meal. Show how to look, I just want to show how to look at the ingredients. And we did do this kind of. So I'm going to look at all the different components here. If you're doing this ahead of time, I sometimes actually write it down. And I have paper and pen here, but honestly, I put it in my phone. But whatever way. And I like to kind of file it in the calendar under the date that I'm planning, if it's something I know ahead of time. But I'll go through and I'll say, that, oh, I can get this pesto chicken power bowl. Well, quinoa and kale and carrots and tomatoes, but I don't want, the chicken. I don't want the sauce the pesto sauce that's going to have oil in it, but that's not enough. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to see that they have avocado toast. Well, can I just get the avocado added? Things like that. Things like that. And another thing is you can see what the kitchen actually offers by looking here. You can even ask them to create something original. Like I've asked the cook to create something with all raw vegetables or steamed vegetables, beans that don't have the components that I want, or whatever is approved, right? And then what I'll do is I'll say, I see you have this bowl or this salad or whatever. Can you create something using these ingredients? All the raw veggies you have, all the, whatever it is that we've been talking about, and say, if you can create something with like that, and just charge me a similar price as some of your salads in the same size salad. They can do that. A lot of times they won't do it if it's really a busy time, but a lot of times they will do it. It's fun to let the chef be creative. Sometimes they have to just do what's on the menu every time. So and just point out something similar on the menu, like I mentioned, whether it's a salad or a bowl or whatever. So tool number 3. Or were you going to say something, Todd?
I can.
Oh, okay. Go for it before we get on to tool number 3.
Sure. So I've noticed in. You
want to come in?
Sure.
Yeah, people want to see you, right? Okay. And WFPB Nut Lisa says she also has not heard of it either. So it's not a common thing.
Oh, the first sentence thing, which is really good, actually.
Yeah.
It's a really good piece of
You want to say hi?
advice. Hello, everybody. From back over there now to here.
You wanted to say something.
Yeah, so when we have gone out, one of the things that I've observed is that when you're having these conversations with your server, the issue is not whether or not they can make it the way you want. It's more that they don't know how to charge it for it or how to put it into their little computer thing. So, I think that is, just something that I've seen is they're more than happy to do it. They just don't know how to do it.
Well, sometimes they do. And yeah, if you, and we've talked about order all the sides, but I mean, you also don't want to be paying a huge amount of money.
You don't want to pay $50 for a salad.
For a salad, right. So that's why I like to do the swap thing.
Yeah.
And I talk with them, is what are the things that I can trade out that aren't going to have a fee to this thing,
Sure.
to this dish. And then the extras, let me know what is extra. Let me know how we can work around it. Maybe there's something that I didn't bring up. Maybe they have artichoke hearts. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you had artichoke hearts. Is there a fee for that? No, we can swap it out for, the roasted asparagus and give you these steamed artichoke hearts or whatever. So cool. Yeah, good point though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, back to my corner.
Okay. You're always welcome to hang out. Okay, so tool number 3, micro visualization. That's a mouthful. This I love. I love this one. Okay, before you leave the house, or even before you order, pause for 5 seconds. I love to do this before you leave the house or even in your car. Pause for 5 seconds and picture yourself leaving the restaurant later, feeling proud and comfortable in your body, not bloated or regretful, right? Take that vision with you and let that vision of you guide your meal choices ahead of time. How many of us do that? Picture ourselves leaving the restaurant before we ever go. Try it. Okay. So, tool number 4, the energy setting technique. Okay. Your energy influences the table. It does more than your food does. Okay. So if you're calm and like matter of fact and at peace with your order, everyone else will be too. Leave your apprehension, your any nervousness or worry, leave it in the parking lot or leave it at home. Don't bring it into the door, or bring it to the table. Most of the time, people don't really care, but sometimes they do, and there's questions. So just feel good in your skin ahead of time. So let's shift how we think about restaurants altogether, because dining out is some positive things here, an opportunity to practice alignment, right? I love opportunity. A chance to connect with people, a moment to honor your body, and a tool for joyful living. What is it not? It's not a test. It's not a threat to your goals. It's not a spotlight on your choices. It is not something to fear. So you can fully enjoy the experience without matching anyone else's plate. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys? Does anyone have any questions? Are there any new comments in the chat? Okay. So as we wrap up, here are the 3 big takeaways. Maybe you'll find more, but dining out is about navigation, not perfection, right? The second thing would be clear, confident communication is your superpower, guys. And 3, there is usually always something that you can order. Okay. So, one more time, if anyone has any questions or comments about what I've shared today, okay, I want to know. And before we end today's live on dining out with confidence, I'd love to hear what's one thing that you learned today that you're going to try next time that you're dining out, if there is anything, or something that resonates with you. And I'll give you a minute to type in the chat if you want. And so while you're doing that, we'll do one full quick review of everything. So know before you go. And the reason that I want to do a lot of these reviews is because I feel like this is a lot of information. So I hope it's helpful and not like, oh my gosh, she's going to say it again. But here we go. Know before you go. Check the menu ahead of time. Find your anchor. Know your non-negotiables and call ahead. Create your plate. Build a meal using pieces that the restaurant already has. Communicate with confidence. Keep it short, keep it friendly, and clear. Use tools like the first sentence strategy, ingredients-based ordering, micro visualization, and energy setting, okay? So not sure if anyone is, I think, let's see. Something came in. Do you want to share?
Apple said next time I'm going to pick up my old tiny phone and call ahead.
Yay! Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Old-timey phone.
What?
Old-timey phone, like old-fashioned phone.
Oh, old-timey phone.
Kind of like yours.
Hello, it's me. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mona says, I do love a baked potato topped with a salad. Most times I do check before I go.
Awesome.
Apple, actually, I do still use a landline. So Apple, you're the one. I don't have a mobile phone with a smiley face.
Wow, what
Good
a
for
gift
you,
that is.
right?
Yeah, do you know, I mean, not to get off on this, but I just want to share, when I first got this, I really wanted to be able to call out on it. We still had a landline. We don't anymore. And I said, can we, what's it called? Rotary? Rotary.
It's a rotary dial.
Yeah,
yes.
I said, can we get the connection for a rotary dial? And they didn't offer it. Oh.
Because the lines are digital now, not analog.
Yeah. So what we ended up finding out is that at the time we had a landline and we did plug this in, and I couldn't dial out on it, but I could pick it up if it was ringing and not know who was calling and be like, hello. And I could talk on it. And it was really fun.
Not know who's calling, just like the old days
The old days, I
when you
know.
actually had to pick it up to find out who was calling.
And then you're like, oh, geez, I wish I had known that. Maybe I wouldn't have picked up. No, I'm just kidding. Or surprised. But yeah. And so, anyways, I really do enjoy the classics, I want to say. So, thank you for sharing that. Well, if you'd like to stay connected with me, please visit thejenniferdiamond.com, join my newsletter, or join me on YouTube at Jennifer Diamond. And I'd love to hear from you, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and thinking about better ways to continue to support your personal health journey. Okay. I so appreciate your time. And I hope that this was a little bit different, but I thought it was kind of fun. And I hope it helps you through the holiday season. And don't forget to eat your greens, and please give plants a chance. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.